In this video, we will walk through how to combine multiple datasets which have different header schemas, using the column mapping operation. We'll see how to quickly define a master schema, what it means to enforce a master schema, how to map and unmap your source data, how to create and populate missing fields in your source data, and how to use auto mapping to accelerate the process. We have created a pipeline and imported 6 source files, 3 monthly schedules of domestic policies and 3 monthly schedules of international policies. Although our source datasets contain the same kind of data, some of the columns use slightly different names and other columns are missing. Let's see how the map columns operation can fix this. Our pipeline starts with a transform stage containing operations to remove unwanted rows and detect the column headers. This prepares our data for the map columns operation. Clicking into the operations edit mode shows the different columns from each of our source datasets as vertical lists on the right. The 3 monthly schedules for domestic and international have identical schemas, so our 6 source datasets have been collapsed into 2 schemas. We can see the names of all the identical schemas if we hover on "and 2 more". Define a master schema. On the left hand side you can define the schema you want your sources to map to. We call this the master schema. Let's define the master schema from the international datasets by clicking the drop down next to the dataset name. The international dataset becomes our master schema, and Quantemplate automatically maps in matching column names from the domestic dataset. The horizontal alignment shows the mapping relationship between the source file column names and the names they are mapped to in the master. We could also build a master schema by mapping in individual fields from our sources, or by adding in fields with the New Field button. Enforce a master schema. Let's take a closer look at the enforce toggle. If we have a dataset with 5 columns and set up mappings for 3 of them, those columns will be renamed in the output file, but the file retains its original structure. However, if we switch on the enforce toggle, the column names and ordering will match what's shown in the master exactly, whilst unmapped columns will be removed. Mapping and unmapping. We can toggle between the mapped and unmapped fields using the progress bar at the top of each dataset. The domestic datasets have 2 column names which don't match the international datasets, so they haven't been mapped in. We can easily map them in by clicking on them and selecting from the drop-down list of suggested mappings. Quantemplate uses artificial intelligence to provide smart mapping suggestions. These combine suggestions from items in your master schema with suggestions from your other pipelines. The strength rating indicates Quantemplate's confidence in the suggested mapping. Map to master will map the source field to an existing column header in the master schema. New mapping appears under suggestions that are not in the master schema and will create a field in the master schema and map the source item to it. Add to master will take the exact name of the source column and add it to the master schema as a new field. You can also unmap, remap, or replace currently mapped column headers. Unmapping the item from the master schema returns it to the unmapped column. Remapping the item matches it to a different available item in the master schema, or the item can be replaced with one of the unmapped items in the source. Populate. In our example, the country field is missing from the domestic datasets, but since the data is all from one country, we can fix this by selecting Populate. This will fill the column with the country Netherlands. We could also add a new column to our master, %share, and specify the values for each source dataset. Let's see what effect our column mapping has had. We hit Run to generate pipeline outputs and see what transformations have been applied to the data. In this case, our transformation stage has 2 inputs, so we generate 2 outputs for inspection. The domestic data has had its header names changed to match the international dataset, added a country column, Netherlands, and the percentage share column. The international tab has the column headings sorted and the percentage share added too. Now we have our header schemas consistent, we can combine the datasets with a union stage and even perform further transformations if needed. Auto mapping. The auto mapping function speeds up the mapping process by applying all suggested mappings above a specified strength threshold. Click the Auto Map button to open the Auto Map preview. The Auto Map preview mode shows the effect of adjusting the strength threshold on the applied mappings. Fields which have changed are highlighted blue. Click the Settings cog to set your preferences on whether existing mappings should be overwritten or new fields created in the master. Once you're happy with the suggested mappings, click the Apply button, or if you want to cancel the auto mapping, exit the preview. Quantemplate's Map Column Headers operation combined multiple datasets with different header schemas and harmonizes them to a consistent schema. For detailed guides to all Quantemplate's features, visit the Quantemplate Help Center.